Well, hello there, Internet. As rarely happens with my channel, somebody actually weighed in on one of my songs and asked if I would show how to play Wasted Days and Wasted Night, the way I was playing it. I think that's great, and I'm going to try. I'm not much of a guitar teacher, but I'm going to give it my best shot here. We're going to do this in a couple of steps. First, we'll have a wide view of the guitar and get you on the page here, my student. That's E, A, D, G, B, and E again. So if you want to try and play along with me, those are the way I'm tuned up. And I think it's mostly in tune, and I think it's concert pitch. And then the chords that this song is built around, the key that I'm playing it in, we're going to need an E chord, and that's in the usual form. And there will be plenty of places if you want to look up an E chord that'll give you the details on playing an E chord. The other chord we're going to need is what I'll refer to as sort of a blues B7. And we'll take a quick fade and break a little later in this video to a close-up of my hand, and you'll be able to see where my fingers are for each of these chords. So the other chord that we're going to need is an A chord, and I'm going to be playing that with a first finger bar because I'm lazy and don't like throwing all three fingers down. To play the A chord cleanly, in this song, all I'm going to need are these bottom strings, and so I can be lazy and put a bar finger down for an A chord. There's going to be another A chord that we're going to need later in the song on the bridge, where I'm going to play it as an A6, A7. I guess that's an A7. And this is a bar chord, and again, we'll have close-ups so that you can see these. And there will be an F sharp, same form. That we're going to need also. And I think with that, those are the chords of the song. I would advise, when wanting to try and play this in the style that I'm going to be showing here and demonstrating, that you go back and you listen to the original late 50s recording of the song by Freddy Fender, because the way in which I'm choosing to play this song, I'm mimicking what I guess it would have been a baritone sax would have been playing in that mix. So that's this business of that business. I go, that was covered by a horn section and probably the bass player. But because I do solo guitar and solo singing, I like to pick up elements like that in my guitar playing so that it adds a little more interest to the song instead of just playing the chords. All right, so with those introductory comments aside, we'll move on now and do a close-up of my hand, and I'll show you what I'm doing with Wasted Days and Wasted Nights. Hopefully this will be clear enough that you can figure out how to play it. All right, we're going to move on to working on playing Wasted Days and Wasted Nights. And the first part of it I want to teach is the verse section. So first I'm going to play it through for you so you can get an idea of the sound and the rhythm And with this close-up of my hand, hopefully that will be clear enough for you to pick up how to play it. But I'll go ahead and do a second time through where we break it down in detail. So here we go with the verse part of Wasted Days and Wasted Night. All right, so it begins with an E chord. So I do I hit the E, the bottom E, and then a downstroke on the E chord. So then I'm going to do this slide. So that's to an A flat to a B. B here with the first finger, A flat with the third finger. And then I'm using the A, open A, I think it works, to transition to the B7 chord. All right, let's pause here a minute. Let's do that transition. So I'm always trying to initiate on 1 with the bass note of the chord and a strum. You want to let those notes really ring out. Then the hammer on to that B. And we're going to go up here to E flat, and it's going to be the same sort of form that we just did on the E chord, but now we're moving it up to handle the same sound and tonalities, the same notes, different notes, same pattern on the B7 chord. So that's E flat to F sharp, and that's an A flat there. So I probably confused you there, and I confuse myself quite often. There are two perfectly fine notes to play in playing that bari sax sort of bass line. And you should play what sounds best to you. But what I've settled on, and I try to be consistent with, not always consistent with, but what I try to do is on any of these progressions, I'm going, because I like that bend. Okay, so I'll bend in the when I'm doing the E, when I'm doing the E chord, and I'm doing the bass to support the E chord. That F sharp, I bend it up to a G and come down to the F sharp. So that's a little bit of a detail. It's something to strive for. If it's easy for you, great. If it's difficult for you, I'm breaking it down. Hopefully you can figure out how to do it if you like it. If you don't like it, you don't have to do it. And so I do that same thing on the B7. So that's a C sharp that I bend up. So that's the turnaround, and the turnaround is an E. Now there's that A chord, and I told you we weren't going to have to be particularly careful about that A chord because it's just sort of there, quick to get the turnaround done. So that's some details on the verse part of the song. Now that's going to transition to a bridge section. Let's see. I almost have to sing it to remember how to get to the bridge. Okay. So this is kind of important. I like the way in the 50s songs and the bass line they would use a chromatic walking up and down to move the song along. And so I'm trying to be conscientious about using that in the bass transition in this bridge section. So we did the turnaround. So you see how I went F sharp. Let's see, so no, I do have to sing it, I'm sorry. We may have to edit this a little bit. Don't you remember? Yeah, we actually go to the A chord first. Don't you remember the day you went away and left me? I was so lonely. See, I'm a singer-songwriter, and I can't remember how a song goes unless I'm singing it. So on that section, it begins up here on an A. And in the original video I did this, I was concentrating on just strumming through the A chord. I think if you wanted to get a little fancier with it, so that's on the bass, and you're going to take this finger and hammer on, and then so you hammer on, so with your ring finger you're covering and I guess I'm going to leave that for you to see. I'm not going to try and explain that too much. And we end up doing the same sort of motions down here. So there's our B7 again. And another turnaround. I go up to a C7 and then back. And just for fun, an F sharp. So that's all the elements of the song. I'm going to go ahead and put it all together one time all the way through and play it through. And so that you can get an idea how all those elements fit together. Okay, so that's all the elements of Wasted Days and Wasted Nights. If you're interested, go ahead, send me a note in the comments. I can show you how to play the solo that I played. It's not that hard, but I feel like this is probably enough for one sitting, probably more than enough. And I'm hopeful that it was clear enough that you'll be able to pick it up. I don't know what the level of guitar playing is of the person who was requesting, so I tried to get as basic as I could, and hopefully it pitched it at the right level. Anyway, enjoy. I was really flattered that somebody would even ask. So there you go. Have fun. Bye-bye.